It's always an honor and a privilege to be in someone else's place of worship, and I don't take it lightly, and I'm happy to be here. I'm standing here because part of what I have to say is going to involve this thing and some music. I sat down with Ruth and Noreen a week or so ago to talk about what I might have to say about my faith journey. I thought, well, this will take 5 minutes, and an hour and a half later, we were still going. And then, of course, we're supposed to do it in 10 minutes, and I've taken it down to 8 because I want to do a song. So I'm going to move pretty quickly. I came into this world in a Methodist practicing family, and it was a great social environment for me. I was very shy, very not athletic. I was musical, and it was a good community for me. It was a safe place to be, but it was social. And I got baptized, confirmed, all that business, and I remember as I was reflecting after we talked that there were 2 women that taught Sunday school at some level. I want to say early junior high maybe. And they were sisters that had never married and lived together all their lives. And they loved Jesus. And, of course, we made fun of them, right? Because they didn't just talk the party, the typical Methodist teaching, but, man, they really loved Jesus. And I have to say, there were times I remember looking at them and thinking, I wish I had what they had. Because there was something, they were very happy in their lives and who they were. So that was the first kind of aha. The other thing is I realized throughout my life, as early as I can remember, I had a sense of the presence of God, but I did not understand it, and it didn't always bring me comfort. Had a lot of fear growing up for various reasons. But there was a knowing that I had that I couldn't understand or explain. And so it took a revival at a Church of the Nazarene when I was 20. And this young evangelist couple just blew me out of the water. And I went down as a young adult and gave my life to Jesus. And it was profoundly moving, and it changed my life very dramatically. So that knowing from a childhood finally had a name, and it was Jesus. And in those years, a miracle took place. I was this was the early years of the charismatic movement. Don't know what was going on here, but down in Texas, it was happening in the Episcopal Church. And then in my college, a woman was from a 4 Gospel church. I can't even tell you what that is. But that's what it was called, the 4 Gospel church. And they were very charismatic. And she said, do you want to be baptized in the Spirit? And I went, sure, why not? You know, I liked her energy. I liked her faith. And she laid hands on me. And I can't tell you what happened other than I went from that experience in college, when I was 20, of accepting Jesus as my Savior, to, in this experience when she laid hands on me, I knew God loved me. And I began to weep. And it was weird, and I'd never done it in public, and I was embarrassed, and blah, blah, blah. Another shift in my life. So I've had these touchstones, these places where my life and my faith has grown. And it has been tempered with deep struggle, with addiction, with the loss of the love of my life in 2000, with many things that challenged what I said I believed. And out of our discussion, we came up with Through It All as a title. And I do know, standing here in my 6th decade, that God has absolutely been with me in everything I went through, even though many times I felt so disconnected. And of course, I blamed God for that. You know, where are you? Well, God was always here, always. And the next thing that happened, how are we? The next thing that happened, this is tough. How do you do this?
You're doing beautifully.
Okay, the next thing that happened was many years later in my mid to late 30s, I heard Mother Teresa in an interview say, something to this effect. Someone asked her, do you try to convert the people you're helping? You know, these dying Hindus and Muslims and all that. She said, no. Her response was, we love them to heaven. And there, it's over to Jesus, sort of thing, she said. Well, I was dumbfounded because I was raised in believing that we needed to preach and convert people. Changed my life. Again, another shift in my whole thinking and way of being. And also, if you've seen any film of her, when she's looking at these people who are not her spiritual kin, she sees Jesus in them. That's what she's looking for. And she even said that. That's what she's always looking for. And then loving them as if, well, because he is there for her. And that took me from having a faith that was confined to, by this point, the Episcopal Church. I'd gone from the Methodist to Episcopalian. And the whole world opened for me in that I saw the possibility, and at least for my life, what I needed to be about was seeing Jesus in everyone. It didn't matter whether they were Episcopalian or Methodist or Baptist or saved. That was a new thought to me. The Hindus and Muslims, in our understanding, were not saved, but she saw Jesus in them. So, and then the other part of this journey for me has been a deep self-loathing that I started very early in this world, and for many reasons, and I've known why. I know the things that happened to me that created that thinking, but it didn't start to really let go of me and me let go of it until the last couple of years, and a big part of it is being in recovery. The recovery community is a deeply spiritual place, and my own two spiritual communities, which is Union Church in Bitterford Pool and Unity in Wyndham. And a shift has happened for me that of learning to see myself in the way that Mother Teresa saw others, and that is that the divine God, Jesus, is in me, whether I'm being a good boy or not. Because my enculturation was, if you're good, God's with you. If you're not good, got to get on your knees and pray for him to come back. Not true for me. God is always there no matter my behavior. So I've had this shift in knowing who I am, and that have the dark, kind of nasty sides of me disappeared? No. I have a nasty little temper that flares occasionally, and I don't always understand what it's about, but I don't judge it anymore. I continue to work on loving me for who I am, who I've been made to be. And that leads me to this song, which I learned from a friend that we're going to do together. He's a little Jewish fellow, a little small fellow, and I'm saying about his size because it's important to the story. He used to, I don't know where he is now, his name is Stefan, and he worked on the streets of Washington, D.C. with these big, tall, drug-addicted black men, street men with guns and knives, and he, like Mother Teresa, saw Jesus in them. And he wrote music for them. He wrote psalms, settings. But this song is another kind of touchstone for me in my faith, and understanding that for me, Jesus and the words of the Bible are only true if I see it in you. It can't be just in a book. It can't be just Ruth's experience and knowledge as a minister. I have to know it in you and you and me. And that's what this song is about. And I'll sing a phrase, you sing it back. Doesn't need any other explanation. And I thank you. I have another service to go to at 9:30, so when we're done. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to be with you. And I would stay and be friendly, but it's not that I'm not friendly. Okay.
I'm going to repeat what he's saying, and we all will sing
Yes.
together.
When I listen to you, when I hear your voice, When I see your face,
when I see your face,
I see the face of God.
I see the face of God.
When I open to you,
When I open to you,
when I touch your heart,
when I touch your heart,
we touch the heart of God.
we touch the heart of God.
We see the face of God.
We see the face of God.
We hear the voice of God.